Hey, good morning or good afternoon, whichever suits you. This is another edition of the Rural Reflections Calling Dave podcast. Good morning, Dave. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Kind of a different day today. It's cool and seems like the weather's going to change. Sounds like we're going to get some rain or something, but it's been pretty nice for a week here now. So we've had our run of summer. So fall is right around the corner.
That's what it feels like around here, too. It was such a beautiful morning. I filled up my coffee cup and took a little run to Viking this morning. Just took a look to see what everybody was doing. They were all pretty much still in bed when I drove through, but I'm sure they'll start getting out to the field and getting a little productive here in a few minutes.
Well, once they saw Grant was in town, I'm sure they all figured they better get up.
Yep, time to get up. Anytime after 3:00, you gotta be moving around. So,
It was really nice here last night. Did you look at the moon at all? Or?
Yeah, strawberry moon.
Yeah. Oh, it was cool, and then it got behind the clouds, and it was, kind of rays of it, and it was just really cool. Anyway.
Yeah, it is, and they call it the strawberry moon because that's when it's time to start picking strawberries when you get that red moon. That's what I've heard.
Yep, that's the story. It actually, I believe it was started by the Indians in maybe Michigan or something like that, upper Michigan. And season was short, and so this is the time you better pick them.
And this, of course, is a time when we're getting ready to probably do some crop spraying here pretty soon. And we just found out that 3 of the 4 dicambas are no longer licensed for use in the fields. We haven't really gotten much guidance on that. They've asked the states for some kind of guidance, but what kind of effect has that had out in Carrington? Have people kind of thrown up their hands, or?
Well, they're definitely chewing their nails and trying to figure out what's coming next. Wouldn't be surprising if they make it a little tougher to do that too. It seems like they're all trying to make things harder to do, so they're just kind of sitting here waiting and hoping that they'll, give some kind of a dispensation on it and say, oh, I guess we'll extend it another month or whatever.
Yeah, that's the truth. It seems like. Now, on the little bit lighter side of things, I just got the picture here that you sent me of the little duck in back of your workplace this morning.
Yeah, it was funny. I just drove out. Here's a mallard just sitting right in the middle of a big bunch of mowing grass. He slept there the night. I actually woke him up because he pulled his head up and that as soon as I got there. But he sat there for a picture, and then after I took the picture, he took off. But it was kind of funny to see him just in the back of the lot behind our business.
Yeah, make sure I put that on our podcast when we produce it later on. Also, thinking of more simple things, you were talking about the solar unit. I can't remember what you called it, but on the row planters. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, when I first started working, everybody was talking about solar monitors for planters, and I'm like, I kind of like that kind of stuff anyway. And I'm like, wow, how did they do that already? Because this was 1973, and so it was kind of mysterious to me for a while until I got to put my first ones on, and here it's a simple invention by a farmer, and you just put it on a row planter. It goes on the drive shaft that runs the unit, and it was just this little rod with a yellow reflective, little round reflector on it, and it would move up and down as the shaft turned on the planter row unit. And so that kind of ruined all the mystique about it for me. And then as I was putting them on row unit after row unit after row unit, then it lost even more of its mystique. But it was a simple invention that really was very handy, and it didn't cost very much.
And you were thinking this is going to be
thing.
You thought it was probably this really cool thing with a solar panel and computer driven and that sort of thing. It had been just amazing technology, and here he was, just some pretty basic farm shop technology that worked.
Yeah, that's all it was. But it actually worked really good because, no wires, no messing around with a monitor. You look back there, and if one of them's not moving, you better go back and check and see what's going on, or you're not seating in one row.
No loose connectors to deal with or anything like that.
Right.
Also staying in the vein of maybe simplicity are kind of fun. We were talking a little bit before we got on the air this morning about all the different little inventions people have made using farm equipment. I mean, one that jumps to my mind right away would be the motorcycles that you see out there, or rat rods that you see out there built with pieces from tractors or tires from implements, all kinds of different things. I get a kick out of those. I mean, there's obviously people who've come off the farm, ended up working in the city, probably used their skills as a welder or mechanic or something like that to make a living, but they still remember the color of paint on their tractor or something about it that makes them nostalgic. And I think that's how those kind of projects come about, isn't it?
I'm sure it is. I mean, some of those things are just absolutely beautiful, you know. There's some rat rods, you know, a lot of people just throw it together out of some old junk they have, and it's cool. I mean, I got a 500 horsepower engine and a, you know, back end of a Volkswagen or something, but there are some of them that are really, really done up. You know, they'll take a tractor hood and put it on the front of a old car frame or something, you know. Oh. But there's some people really go gung-ho for that stuff.
I know one thing I've seen is a motorcycle with a hit and miss engine on there. Now that's got to be an interesting ride. I mean, that's got to be, you know, speed up and slow down, speed up and slow down. I imagine it's probably just used in parades or maybe even just static display, but that's one of the kind of neat things. The other thing I remember is there seems to be a fair amount of people out there taking lawnmowers and making them into, like, I suppose, eighth scale, quarter scale tractors, something along those lines.
I know that I've gotten lost in websites looking at the little tractors that they build, you know, and some of them are almost, I mean, they're such exact replicas, some of them, at least on the sheet metal and that kind of thing, you know. If you didn't know it was a Mini, and you're just looking at the tractor, some of them almost look identical to their big brother.
I think some of that came from, well, I think when people started seeing those who collect tractors started collecting them based on, can I get them on a car trailer or not? I think maybe that clicked in somebody's mind and they said, aha, people like convenience. Even in their nostalgia, they like a little convenience.
Yeah, I know. It's funny you say that because most of the older tractors don't fit between the fenders on a car trailer, you know?
Yep.
So, I mean, I've seen people do various things with them. They'll carry wooden blocks with them that allow them to go up and over the fenders, or, you know, it'll fit right on the fender. But the back tires are usually about where the fender is when you load them on the trailer. So, yeah, that's make it a lot handier. And then, of course, you could get a custom-made trailer for your little custom-made tractor. And, you know, a lot of those things get very, very expensive. But they're sure a lot of fun. I know I was looking at a website that it was a Cub Cadet website, and one of those guys had made a replica forklift, like the International 4500 forklift replica, and it was amazing all the work that must have gone into getting that little miniature forklift attachment onto this tractor, but it sure looked authentic.
Yeah, I notice on those too. It's never a matter of taking some angle iron and tack welding it on anywhere. It's usually everything's perfect. I mean, there's usually, if there was a shuttle for it or anything like that, or a side shift, boom, you get the same thing in the model also.
Yeah, I know. They do some awesome work.
Sure do. Well, you got anything else for us this week there, Dave?
No, I guess not. I just hope that the weather keeps us going enough so we can get some kind of crop anyway this year. We're supposed to get rain. Sounds like maybe even a little extra this weekend. So maybe that'll help us out if, you know, when we have crop that's mudded in. Hope we don't get any hail or any of that.
That'd be all right by me too. You have a good day, Dave, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, see you, Grant.
See you later. There he is, my brother Dave Nelson from Carrington, North Dakota. I'm Grant Nelson here in Thief River Falls with the Rural Reflections Call and Dave podcast from Thief River Falls Radio.